Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. So today we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to talk a little bit about some additional plants that I got. I know. Chad keeps grabbing my hand and pulling me to the store. If you don't know who Chad is compulsive horticultural acquisition disorder, and I've got it bad, especially when there's a plant sale. If you're enjoying my channel so far, give me a thumbs up on this video, subscribe, even hit the notification bell to get notified anytime a new video comes out. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the plants that I got, and then I'm going to show you how I clean up a couple of them to make them a little bit prettier before I put them into the garden. Alright, let's get started. So you know me and Chad, we love going shopping together, and I went to Lowe's today just to check out and see what else that they had, and you wouldn't believe it, their sale was even better today, and it was a one day only, 50% off pretty much every single thing that they had in store. So I thought I would grab some things and I did. And I had a great time shopping for them. So let's get started looking at some of them. And again, I'm going to show you them one at a time, and then some of the ones that need a little bit of cleaning up, I'm going to clean up so you can see how I do that. And then at the end of the video, we'll also put the tags up for you so that you can see a little bit more about each one of the plants. All right, so starting over here, I have one of these already. This one is an Autumn Frost, and this is by Proven Winners, and it's part of their Shadowland collection. And I grabbed this one because even though I already have one, I really like it a lot, and I don't want to have to wait for it to grow on. And so when I looked in all of the pots also, this one was the only one that had like 3 crowns in it. And what I mean by crowns is when you look internally, you can actually see 3 different plants that are combined in the center. Most of them only have 1. And so this was $15.98. It was half off, which means that it was approximately $8. And I got probably 3 plants out of it. So I'm looking forward to being able to split this one up and put it out in the garden. This one is very hardy also. It's hardy from zones 3 to 9. I have some of these in my front pots by my front porch, and the reason I like them there is because they'll actually overwinter in the pots. I am in a zone 5B in Michigan, and it's really good to make sure that if you're going to leave things in pots, that they're at least 2 zones hardier than your zone. So for me in 5B, that means 3. So I'm loving that. And then, if you follow me, you know that I've got one other one of these. These are the Hydrangeas Spearmint. It's part of the Dolce series by Proven Winners, and it's a beautiful blue-green color. And also on the flowers, they're actually like a pink. I haven't actually seen them flower yet, but I really love it. I was looking forward to splitting the one that I have, hopefully this fall. But now I don't have to worry if it hasn't gotten big enough to do that, because I'll actually be able to plant these. Now, these do need a little bit of love. These were the last 2. They were $9.98, which means that they were about $5 each. And these are actually good in sun to shade. So they're a very versatile plant. I love Hydrangeas, and these are hardy in zones 4 to 9. So you can see that there is quite a bit of brown leaves in here. And so what we're going to do right now is just pull some of those off. Okay, so I grabbed a little table so I could set this down so you can see what I'm going to do. Some of the brown foliage I'm able to just pull off, but this is probably because it was either not watered enough or it was too watered. I'm not sure at this point. When I picked some of them up, they did seem like they needed water, so I have already watered these. And one of the things that you'll notice when you pick up plants from a nursery is many of them are grown in peat or like a coir, and this one is also grown in that type of mix. And so what that means is that if a plant has been drying and has not been properly watered, this mix that it's in, which is soilless, will actually become hydrophobic, which means it will push the water away from it. And so if you have trouble with getting them watered, what I suggest you do is get a bucket or some other bin and simply fill it a few inches full and place the plant all the way down into that bin to soak for a couple of hours. And you'll notice that then it will become a different color. It will be much darker, just like this one, almost black, and then they'll be much happier. All right, so we got all that brown stuff off of there, and I have gotten 2 of those. So super excited about that. All right, we'll clean up the other one now as well. Let's see what this one looks like. This one looks pretty good. It's got a lot of new growth. There are some leaves that have some crunchies on them, and we'll just get those off. Just gets the plant as healthy as it can be before you put it in the ground or into a pot. The other thing to do to kind of rehab plants a little bit when you get them home is, even if they like sun or they like shade, put them in a spot that does not get direct sun. This way they have a chance to kind of get their energy back. And it really helps. All right, that one looks pretty good as well. So next up, I've got a couple shrubs. These are by First Editions, and First Editions has a lot of great shrubs, you guys. So check them out. These were also 50% off, and this is a spirea. This one is called Superstar Spirea, and it is a compact variety. It grows 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. But again, you can prune to keep it into a certain size if you want. And this one is deer resistant, so I plan to put this one out front. And the heat zone is 8 on this one, so for those of you who live in hotter climates, it goes up to zone 8, and the hardiness zone is 3, so really good for cold winters as well. It is, if I didn't say so, oh, I think I did, it is deer resistant, which makes me really happy. Now you'll see this one is growing a little bit lopsided, and part of the reason for that is when they're in the nursery or they're at your local store, you know, they're all kind of packed in really tight, so they're all trying to reach for the sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this back pretty hard. It'll get rid of all of the spent blooms, and it will allow it to start to take a nicer shape. Now I'll start by pruning back just kind of mildly, and then I will do more if I think it's necessary. And I want this to be a bit of a mound shape, and naturally it probably will grow in a mound shape, but because it's been in the nursery, it's trying to find its way to the sun. You'll see some nice new growth here. This growth, you can see, is actually a little bit different color, so that's another nice thing about some of the spireas, is that you don't necessarily have to wait for a flower to bloom in order to get some color. They will actually have some on their new growth. It's always hard to prune when you see flowers, I think. At least for me it is. I don't like cutting them off, but sometimes it's just necessary to get the shape that you want or get a plant back into a really healthy condition. Spin this a little bit so I can see it from the other side. You can tell the growth on this one is fairly lopsided. I'm going to take this tag off real quick because I can't tell exactly what it's going to do when I take the tag off. Okay. There's another little branch, a couple other branches I want to get rid of there. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. So as you can see, it's a little bit shorter, but it's also much healthier, and it's starting to take on a growth shape that's good. This is probably the sturdiest branch right here, but I definitely want to encourage the rest of it to really grow strong. So I'm going to prune the other one off camera. I'll do the exact same thing that I did on this one. One little pruning tip that I'd like to share with you today is in regards to plants like this one, which is a spirea. You can see they have alternating plant growth, and I'll talk about this in a pruning video another time. But when they alternate, if you want something to grow in the direction of a leaf, cut right above that. So if you want it to grow out, cut right above this leaf. If you want it to grow that way, cut right above that leaf. When I learned that tip and trick, it was a bit of a game changer for me, so hopefully it helps you as well. Alright, let's take a look at some of these other plants. Okay, so here's another plant that I have. This one's a new one to me, and I was actually kind of excited to see it. When I saw it, I thought a little bit about a Virginia, but this is actually related to a heuchera. And so this is called Mukdenia. And it's spelled Mukdenia, and its new growth has this burgundy red color on the tips, which is really pretty. And this was $34.98. I think the price was so high because it is a slow grower, and I got it for half off. And then let me see here, it had a black line through it, so in addition to that I got half off of that, so I think I got it for around $8 to $9. And this is a shade plant. It can go to partial sun. I wouldn't recommend that probably in a hotter climate, but it also is supposed to be able to take full sun. But we'll see. Partial shade to full sun, watering when the top 2 inches of soil is dry. It does have pretty little white flowers in the spring that grow right up above it, and it blooms in mid-spring, and it's zone 4 to 9. So it gets about 2 feet tall and wide, and that's primarily probably including the flowers as well. So I think that's going to be a pretty little plant. I haven't decided where that's going to go yet. It's always hard for me to figure out where to incorporate a plant when I only have one of them, but I think that will be an opportunity for me to get creative. So I already pulled a lot of the dead foliage on here. It was pretty yellow. It had been underwatered for sure, and it seems very happy now. And so I think when I get it in the ground and I find a home for it, it'll really like that. Okay, now you guys know I love a good heuchera. This one I don't have yet, and this one is pretty cool. It's called the Mahogany Monster, and look at the size of the leaves on this guy. This one will go in sun or shade. And it is actually looking a little bit pink right now. I think it's actually going to be a little bit darker, but it is good also in zones 4 to 9. And its blooms are in midsummer, so it's pretty much the same as many other heucheras, except for it's very large in terms of, let's see here, spacing 22 to 28. It grows about 12 to 16 inches tall and about 2 feet wide. So pretty good looking plant. I got 3 of these. These were $9.98, and I got those for half off. Okay, next up I got this Serendipity Allium. So you all know that I have the Millennium Allium, which I like to call Millennial Allium for whatever reason. But this is the Serendipity, and the reason why it's called Serendipity is because the foliage is a little bit bluer tinge than the Millennial. It looks so much the same. The blooms are the same. The height's about the same. And this is a perennial. This goes in full sun or part sun. And it's, let's see what the zones are, 4 to 8. And what I like about this one, and the reason why I grabbed this particular container, is it is super chock full of plants. And these are really easy to divide. Alliums are super tough, so I will be able to put these and separate them. You can almost get them right down to one kind of onion at a time, one allium at a time, and separate each of those single bulbs. So this one looks really healthy. There's a little bit of foliage that's kind of yellow. This one looks like it's falling off, so we'll just throw that aside. But super pretty plant, very tough. They're just starting to bloom in my yard, and so is this one, so it's great timing. Okay, so I got this sedum. I thought the colors on it were really pretty. This is the Sun Sparkler Dream Dazzler sedum, and I love the Sun Sparkler series. They just have really pretty colors. This one looks like it is just about to bloom. I'm not sure what the bloom colors are going to be. I think it's probably going to be like a pink to red. It's hardy down to zone 4, and this actually has 3 plants in it, and this was $14.98, so I actually got this in kind of a cute little pot for $7.50, you guys. This is a great buy. I'm actually just going to set this out for a while and enjoy it on my deck. So this is a perennial. It blooms in summer. It's hardy down to zone 4, which makes it really hardy. And these are pretty much the mature size, although they may get a little bit taller in the ground, maybe up to 18 inches, and they... Nope, 18 inches wide. So this is as tall as they're going to get. So 6 to 8 inches tall and up to 18 inches wide each. Really cute. They have some variegated pink on them along with the purple. So they're just a beautiful color. And that one's done by Lowe's. And then as you can see, I also ended up getting 2 more Limelight Hydrangeas. I have no idea where I'm gonna put these. I might just pot them up and use them as potted plants to look pretty. But they're gorgeous plants, and at the price, I just couldn't pass them up. Last 2 plants to show you today, they are the same. These are the Wizard of Oz. These are 2 Veronicas. I have the white wand Veronicas, and I've been looking for these all season, so I'm super excited to get them. I do need to clean them up a little bit, so let me show you how I'm gonna do that. These are perennials. These are hardy in zones 4 to 8, and they take full sun to part sun. And as you can see, many of the blooms on these are spent. They were actually very dehydrated when I got them. And so these were a couple that I put into, first I watered them a little from the top. I could tell they were a bit hydrophobic. So just like I described to you earlier, I decided to grab a bucket and I put them in that, and they are much happier now. They perked right up. They were actually really floppy when I got them. They looked horrible. But I always like to hydrate my plants before I show them to you guys so you can get a better idea of what they actually look like. You can see there are some new blooms that are starting to come up on this plant. So it's not done with its show for the year, and that just means I'm going to get some more blooms. You can even see, if you look really closely right here, I'm cutting it back to the node where these itty bitty teeny tiny beginnings of buds are starting. And probably within a few days, these are pretty tough plants, you guys. They're gonna probably start blooming again for me. So you can see as I clean this up that it's starting to look a little bit more like a flowering plant than a plant that has spent blooms on it. Deadheading is so important to keep those blooms coming all season long, you guys. And it only takes a few minutes and a few snips, and this plant is ready to go. Look at how nice that looks. This one has even more that are spent, but sometimes that actually can make it a little easier to clip, because then you're not worried about cutting off ones that are actually in bloom right now. You can see I'm just grabbing each stalk and then cutting it back. And on most of these I can see those little baby blooms getting ready to start. And if they aren't already, they will be soon. One of the things about deadheading that I do want to remind you though is don't expect them to bloom the same as the first time, the second time around. They will be a little less prolific, a little less abundant, but nonetheless they will be beautiful. And it's pretty cool how many plants will actually bloom for you more than once if you give them a little TLC and tell them to quit producing seeds, put out some new blooms for me. That's what you're telling it whenever you clip off a spent bloom. do you think? Did I get them all? Looks like I got most of them. All right, well, fantastic. There we go. A few minutes into it and they're all cleaned up and happy. Well, thanks for joining me today, you guys. I'm going to put the tags, like I said, at the end of this video so you can check out a little bit more information about each plant if you really liked them. And I'll see you next time. Bye!